Good afternoon. Great to have you with us here on this Tuesday. We start at 4 o'clock with an update on the $600 million redevelopment of the Circle Center Mall.
Yeah, this is pretty big news. The developer for this massive downtown project has just announced the next steps to transform the decades-old property, including closures.
Our Marion County reporter Lauren Kostick shares the immediate changes you're going to notice.
The developer says construction will be done in phases, starting here on the south end of the mall. You can see the escalators, they're turned off, and also the entry is now blocked, marking the start of this years-long project. The nearly 30-year-old mall was once the crown jewel of Indianapolis, but in the last few years, it's become eerily empty.
This week, I've done one transaction a day.
I mean, something needs to happen here. You know, it's not the mall it once was.
Developer Hendricks Commercial Properties agrees, purchasing the property last year. Their plan to gut the inside and turn it into a mixed-use open-air space, a process the developer calls complex.
Very, very complicated, but I think, we bring the experience to the table to be able to figure this out.
To start, Lance Evinger said the south end of the mall will need to close, including the skywalks. The rest of the mall will remain open. But that doesn't mean bulldozers just yet. Instead, the developer will use the time for testing and selective demolition to see if they can build what they designed.
Because the footings were only built to support the existing mall structure. And with our plans, we're going to be tearing things around. We're going to be building on top. So, really that area needs to be closed like it's a construction zone.
Once the design phase is complete, he said the real construction will likely start next year. And it's also important to note that the mall's main concourse, food court, and parking garages will remain open, and also all the exterior restaurants. In Indianapolis, Lauren Kostick, 13 News.
Now, in total, this project is expected to cost $600 million. It will be done in 2 phases, with the first phase set to be done in the year 2030.
And this also comes as the city builds the new Cigna by Hilton Hotel, the Shinola Hotel, and redevelopment of Georgia Street near the Convention Center. Lots of things moving and shaking downtown. Looking forward to it.
Yep, we'll be here to bring you more info on that. And we got to talk weather, because we are tracking severe weather. It is expected to arrive tomorrow. Look at your screens, folks. Anytime we see bunches of colors and a rainbow, we know we should be paying attention to our weather department.
Yeah, it could be a bumpy ride, Sean.
Yeah, and I will stress that there's going to be a lot of dry hours tomorrow, but we want you focusing specifically on late afternoon and evening and early tomorrow night. Okay. So we'll narrow down the timeline for you. Here it is. This is the bad boy that we're going to be tracking the next 24 to 36 hours. It's the latest in a parade of systems we've had through the Ohio Valley. It is that time of year here. We are on the cooler side of this system right now. We're seeing some of this cloud cover coming in. It's going to be dry all evening long, though the clouds are going to be increasing here. It's actually pretty pleasant compared to 24 hours ago. We've got temperatures that are in the lower to middle 50s. So if you have evening plans, you're in good shape. Cool, yes, but dry. Tomorrow morning, temperatures not nearly as cold as the 20s we had this morning. Kids getting into the bus stop, there will be a few thunderstorms around. I want you to know about that. Most of those are going to be north of I-70, but maybe not all of them. A lot of dry time in the middle part of the day. Early afternoon, not in bad shape. It's going to be very windy. Once we get a little closer to 6, 7 o'clock, thunderstorms will be on the increase here. And you'll notice we've got some red on this map. They've increased the probabilities of tornadoes over the southwestern corner of the state, but the entire state under a level 3 out of 5 risk. I'll let you know what that means. We'll talk about the severe timeline all ahead in the 7-day forecast.
All right, we know it's a little serious when you do your lunge there, Sean.
Yep.
All right, let's get a check of traffic. This is a look at a little slowdown here. Some service vehicles pulled to the side here, some construction it looks like. This is a look at I-465 at 69 and Benford Boulevard. As you can see, traffic exiting there has slowed down just a little bit there. We also have a second camera that we'd like to show you. Things are all green over 465 and West 38th Street. All green there. We'll continue to follow traffic and weather. Here's more of your news.
And right now, IMPD looking into what led to a double shooting near 38th and Keystone. This is the scene. Police tell us one man died, another was hurt. This afternoon, police believe the shooting resulted from a disturbance between family members. Detectives are now trying to figure out whether the two victims shot each other. A third person was detained, but their role has not been determined, if any. IMPD just announced the arrest of a 16-year-old accused in a deadly shooting back in January.
Well, the victim, Rodney Nixon Jr., was found dead in an apartment near Warman Avenue and Washington Street. Police used witness testimony and video footage to identify the 16-year-old suspect.
He was arrested yesterday on an active warrant for murder.
And a man who shot and killed his ex-girlfriend outside a West Side daycare received the maximum sentence today.
Orlando Mitchell received a 66-year sentence for murder and invasion of privacy. This is video of Mitchell from a previous court hearing. A camera was not allowed in the courtroom today. Back in September of 22, Mitchell ambushed 32-year-old Crystal Walton outside Charity Childcare on West 10th Street.
He shot her multiple times after she dropped off her two kids, including their 1-year-old son, and was taken into custody about 3 hours later after a shootout with police. Today, several of Walton's family members testified at Mitchell's sentencing.
It's very tough. However, we've been waiting on this day, so it's good to see the support. The community, of course, friends and family, and the outcome, of course, was appealing to us.
Mitchell still faces another murder charge in the strangulation death of Marion County Deputy John Durham that happened in July of 23. That is a death penalty trial, which is scheduled for next year.
At the State House today, an important conversation about preventing child abuse.
Well, April happens to be National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and today Governor Mike Braun was joined by lawmakers and advocates to address the problem here in Indiana.
In 2023, more than 7,500 kids in our state were removed from their homes due to abuse or neglect.
Behind every case is a child, a son, a daughter, a friend, whose voice deserves to be heard and whose safety often depends on us. Last year alone, our team at DCS assessed over 100,000 cases of suspected abuse or neglect. That's 100,000 opportunities to intervene, to heal, and to proactively prevent future or additional harm.
The group Prevent Child Abuse Indiana also leads statewide prevention efforts through education and just awareness, letting people know about this issue. Their initiative covered 62 counties in Indiana last year.
President Donald Trump's new tariffs set to take effect tomorrow, and we will not just see an impact on car costs.
Karen Kafa breaks down what we all need to know.
President Trump's 25% tariffs on imported vehicles and parts are set to take effect and could create a market for new cars similar to pandemic-era supply chain scarcity with a more costly pinch.
Autos have done nothing but increase in cost. And today we actually have higher interest rates than we did back in the COVID times.
Higher auto costs can bring higher insurance costs, which have already skyrocketed in recent years. Tariffs on items like steel and aluminum also said to push the price of auto parts higher. So repairs and used cars could cost more too.
If you need to repair your car, it costs you a little more money. Same thing when the dealer takes in a trade-in, they have to recondition the vehicle, they have to repair the vehicle, be selling standards. That will add costs as well.
Meanwhile, gas prices have recently pushed higher, but it's more about spring break demand than tariffs right now, according to AAA.
Obviously, anytime we talk about tariffs, markets react right away. Potentially retailers could react right away, but we have not seen that in recent weeks.
AAA says tariffs on imports from Canada could squeeze drivers in the northern portion of the country.
Northern states, states in New England, along the Midwest, all those states that are closest to Canada do rely on gasoline from Canada in many cases. So they could be seeing some effects.
But AAA also notes the national average is about 40 cents lower per gallon than this time last year. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.